A crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime that they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from maximum security stockade to the Cochise County, Arizona underground. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as veteran workforce specialists with Arizona at work. If you need employment or career guidance, if no one else can help you, and if you can find them, maybe you can work with the DVOPS team.
Pew, 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 pew. Dun, dun, dun.
Sorry, we just had to give it a try.
So, bring a little humor into today.
Yeah, so welcome to Kevin and Jerry Talk Veteran Employment. I'm Kevin Mcfadden.
Jerry Currier.
We're veteran workforce specialists with the state of Arizona. We cover Cochise, Graham, Greenlee County.
Mm-hmm.
And today we wanted to just kind of talk about transitioning.
Go down to Yuma too. Help
out.
Yeah.
Down, up.
Whatever. It's somewhere else. It's hot there. That's all I know.
It's hot.
Give a shout out to Mark, our new DVOP down there.
Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah.
He's kind of a big deal, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, I just want to apologize. Been out for a while. Just working on some stuff. But before we get going, do a couple shout outs to somebody, I guess. So, no. If you're looking for work, highly recommend that you go to arizonajobconnection.gov. It's our statewide database for employment and training. If you are having issues on how to register or anything like that, or if you have an account and you need help resetting passwords and all this other fun stuff, come on down and see Kevin or I, or go to your local Arizona at Work office. They can help you do that. Also, want a huge shout out to our people in the fishing industry. That's kind of a big deal.
Oh, I wonder why.
Yeah, I know. Huh. I would never guess that my wife and sister-in-law are working up there this season. It's awesome. But yeah, so if you're looking for work or just have questions, Kevin and I are at the Warrior Healing Center, 1838 Paseo San Luis. I'm here on Mondays. Kevin and myself will be here Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and he will be down here Fridays. Awesome. So how you been doing, Kevin?
I've been good. I mean, we missed you last week.
You
chose family over.
Yeah, I know. My son calls and kind of sad. Dad, could you pick me up at the airport? I don't have no transpo. And I'm like, oh, really? So I had to go force myself to eat at EG's. That was hell. That was not fun.
So is he Army?
Yeah.
Yeah, he could have walked.
I know, right?
I heard you guys do that. So.
Yeah, the Army. Well, I don't walk that much anymore, so. So, what are we going to talk about today, Kevin?
So, basically, what we wanted to do is we wanted to start kind of talking a little bit about military transition. Talk about really what was lacking before. With our older veterans that they didn't get before they got out, and what our transitioning service members are getting now, and how we can help those transitioning service members.
I know when you and I talk about it, it's like I left active duty in 2004, right after the invasion, and I think I did everything wrong in transitioning. I mean, because they brought you back long enough to transition out of the military.
Yeah.
I was fortunate that I had 3 months, which I thought, oh, that's really nice. But but I was still working, pulling staff duty and stuff every couple days. So I know from my experience, nothing went right.
Yeah.
And so I wound up going as a contractor just to get some decent money coming in. But in '04, it was freaking pathetic. VA brief was like 10 minutes. Basically, the gist of it was, if you want to apply for disability rating, come see us. That was the highlight of it. And it was just interesting being in a wartime army trying to transition out. It's very hectic.
Yeah, and you got 10 minutes more than our dads got when they left the
Well, I
military.
know, right?
You know, thank you for your service. Good
But
luck.
compared to today, it's kind of interesting. It really is.
I went through the Transition Approach Assistance program in 2012 up at Davis Mountain. And then I went again in 2013 down here at Fort Huachuca because we lived here and I wanted my wife to be able to go through the VA brief, which was a huge mistake because when she found out that if you miss an appendage, that's automatic 10%. And she just chased me around the house with scissors saying, let me just get one finger.
She's not asking a lot.
No, but so on a serious note,
it hurt for a little bit.
Yeah. So in 2013, the Department of Labor, they made it mandatory.
Yeah.
Mandatory for, it was DOD in conjunction with the Department of Labor made it mandatory.
And I think it's interesting that there's some installations, and I'm only speaking from the Army side of the house, that they have some really good programs for transitioning service members. Even when you retired off active duty, it's amazing what some of these places offer. Allow the soldiers, depending on mission essential, if they can go to school or not, and all that other fun stuff.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting is, the first kind of questions they have you ask is, who are you? Because, I don't know. What's the mission? Because we're so mission focused. Who are you? What do you like? What do you don't like? And then you start writing down those skills,
It's amazing.
Then, if say you want to follow the same career track on the outside, that's great, but where's the work? You got to target your resume.
Exactly.
I just honestly thought I was going to tell employers how great I was and just shotgun out my resume.
I'm just walk through the doors. Yeah, I walk on water. Here's my resume. When do I start making $80,000 a year?
I know, right? Pour some water on the floor. I'll walk on it.
I'll walk on it. Yeah. But transitioning could be either. I've noticed since being a DVOP, either you meet those ones that they've been very successful. They've done everything they're supposed to be doing. Then you have the ones who, it's okay. And then people probably that would fall into my category, just good luck. Yeah. There's no planning on it. We've worked with clients that they show up after they do their final out and say, I'm homeless. There's no, I feel there's no excuse for that.
Yeah. And it's usually on a Friday afternoon, which makes it near impossible to get them into any temporary housing.
Has happened just about. We've, over the years have seen that. Yeah. And it's just staggering.
Yeah. No, it is. It is. And like you were saying, transition can be easier, but it also depends on what you're going to do and where you're going to do it.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a lot of service members that get out and they're able to pick up a government contract position or get the 180-day waiver, which is rare for a GS position, but that's not that difficult of a transition. You're still on the installation. You're still, And
you're right. So hypothetically, what if you're a truck driver?
And I don't know. Don't ask me. You're the truck driver.
Yeah, I'm the truck driver. But, I say, engine retarder. So if you're working in a career field that you don't have the greatest prospects on as a civilian, granted, I'm not knocking civilian truck driving. There's some awesome jobs out there, but you're leaving the military for whatever reason. Most of the time you're doing your time and getting out. Maybe finish up in the Guard or Reserve or just stay IRR. But as a truck driver, you probably are going to have to get into a career field where you're still going to be away from home.
Yeah.
And so with that said, at that point, do you think, well, maybe I should go to school. Maybe it's important to maybe use my GI Bill or start talking to the transition assistance office to see, hey, is there a way for me to retrain before I leave active duty? There's no way I'm going to drive civilian. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to get into a career field where I'm going to be home on a regular basis.
Yeah, I can imagine that 88 Mike truck driver. I don't want to be away from home, but you can go get your dispatch certification.
And that's true.
I mean, you have that. That command and control is inherent to that mission.
Exactly.
So, and one of the things that you need, the Air Force doesn't have it yet, which is weird. I always thought the Air Force would have it first, but I'm Air Force, so we're everybody bow down. But so Army, I believe the Navy and the Marine Corps.
Espresso's waiting after the show, by the way.
Awesome. Yes. So,
score.
But Army, Navy, and Marine Corps have their cool website, which talks about how do you transfer your training, your certification to specific career fields. Where the Air Force, we have your community college of the Air Force degree, and that's great. But I love the cool website because now you can plan before you get out. If let's say you want to do your job or a similar position, now you know what certifications to get before you get out.
Exactly.
Excuse me.
And I think it's imperative. I feel at the time when my youngest son, and I'm going to make sure I say this right, Corporal Ryan Patrick Currier at Fort Carson, Colorado, not Fort Hood, Texas. Yeah,
still a fort.
Yeah, it's still an Army thingy. But he's an 88 Mike. So, anywho, to start your transition as early as possible.
Yeah.
If you could start doing the groundwork a year or so out, and then gradually figure out what direction you want to go, at some point, hopefully by your 6-month mark, if possible, you're hitting the ground running. You're trying, like you're saying, if I want to be a truck driver, what certifications am I going to need as an example? Or specialized training am I going to need? And then if so, can I do that while I'm still on active duty? Which they do offer certain programs to assist with that, which I thought was kind of interesting.
I mean, that tuition assistance
is amazing.
Yeah, I should have used that.
Yeah.
When I was in, the majority of the time I was in, it was 100% free.
Yeah.
All you had to do was pay for your books.
Again, I'm going to have to make sure I say this right. Chief Petty Officer Robert Currier, not Petty Officer, God forbid you say Petty Officer. Squids.
In the Navy.
Told your fellow man. But he's going to school through ASU right now. Yeah. Basically, he just has to pay for his books.
No, that's awesome. I got it for a Navy guy. That's pretty smart.
Yeah, not too bad for a sailor. Kind of cool. But he's decided to start his degree program. He has to take about 4 years before he retires, even though there's plenty of time. Yeah. But he's not messing around. He wants to make sure he has that leeway to get the degree finished, maybe small business loan, or start looking into the various options in his career field degree program. So, and I think that's kind of neat for my son. He's very methodical on his approach to retirement, more so than I was. But it's just really interesting because there's a lot of programs out there. I don't think they're fully taken advantage of by service members, which I think they should be. Do your homework. Figure out, like you're saying, what specialized training am I going to need, or is it time just to reinvent myself? And how do I do that?
Honestly, and I would recommend anybody on active duty right now, because you've heard the term RIF.
Yeah.
Guess what we do after every conflict?
Drawdowns.
We draw. Are you in or you out? If the needs of the military outweigh the needs of the service member. So we know it's coming. It happen. It's gonna happen. Yeah. It happens every time. So start really looking at how to translate your skills just in case. And hey, if you don't get ripped, great. You're well ahead of everyone else.
But I think it's once you decide you're going to ETS or retire, there's a lot of questions out there. Especially if you're married and you have children, medical insurance and all You don't get 30 free days leave every year. You have to earn. You have to build up, accumulate. And 9 times out of 10 is what we only get. 2 weeks a year?
Yeah. We don't get a housing allowance.
No.
It's not taxed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or your separate rations.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff you're going to lose. And so you have to take into consideration, oh, shoot, I'm going to lose a lot of money when I ETS or retire.
Yeah.
So how am I going to make that up? How am I going to? So you have to look at those jobs. Making minimum wage ain't going to cut it.
No.
Because, take into, like I was telling my son, take into consideration that it's awesome at 25 you own a house, but basically the Army's paying your mortgage for you.
Yeah.
And that money's going to be gone when you ETS or retire. So you have to start calculating before you're final out, this is what I need to be doing. And these are the benchmarks I need to meet before I sign out on my final out.
Yeah. Excuse me. And I don't know if you know this, but if you Google DOD TAP, you can actually take the class online at any time. Veteran, active duty, you can take it all. I still recommend that. I mean, it's mandatory that you go in person, but I do recommend the in person because somebody's going to ask a question you're not thinking about. And in person, after you go through the resume writing, you learn how to negotiate salary. You interview each other. And you monitor the body language. Hey, you're not speaking civilianese, and that you can't get just reading.
No, I like to think as service members we develop bad habits. Communication. Yeah, I know. Shocker. Our communication. So we use a lot of acronyms. We use just the way we just generally the way we talk.
I got your 6.
Yeah. What are you talking about? But because a lot of times, unless you work for a veteran, a company that is exclusively service veterans, you may be the only one there.
Yeah.
So again, start preparing yourself. I think, like you're saying, go to those classes in person. Yeah. Start interacting with them. Start networking. Start working on that resume. Start interviewing with companies, asking them what they look for in a resume. I think it's kind of a sad story in a way, but like the Pacific at the end when he's just going to enroll in college. Yeah. She asked him, "What can you do?" I could shoot a machine gun, or I could, kill Japanese.
I'd rather not say I want this job.
Yeah, I'd rather not say that. But yeah, but it's just interesting because, I've heard you say this time and time again. We have to bend to them. They don't bend to us.
Yeah, the civilians do not transition. Yeah, we have to, and as much as we don't like it, and we just don't get them, we only make up 3% of society as a whole. So unless you can find a veteran you're going to work for, and it's a veteran company, you're going to have to learn to speak civilianese again. Yeah.
It's going to make you feel weird.
Yeah, and boy, you serve 20 years in the military, and then you go to college. We'll talk about a wake-up call.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like Billy Madison right there.
Sad.
Yeah, and apparently asking them why they're not on time, but you're not supposed to do that as a student. Apparently, instructors don't care either. Yeah. But and they didn't even bring donuts. That's what ticked me off. You're going to be late, you bring the donuts.
They're jerks. Yeah. But yeah, transitioning I think is an interesting topic. It really is, because everything starts before SFL TAP. Single, married. There's questions on both sides. How do we start planning? Then once I get into SFL TAP, what do I do from there? I see, when we do SFL TAP, sometimes You get those ones that are question after question. They're on top of it. Then you get those ones that just look at you. It's like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Awesome. But
Excuse me.
start communicating. That to me, that's a big issue. Start the communication.
And then I recommend, okay, so, we've done some intros of what we do in the past, but when it comes to transitioning, I always tell veterans, go to SFL TAP first, or TAP, what it's called. It depends on which military component you serve in. Go to it first so you can learn those basics.